Welcome to 'Cause We're Nerds, the podcast that covers trends and releases in comics, movies, video games, board games, and much more. I'm your host, Caleb, and with me is my brother, Jacob.
Hey, everybody.
The summer movie craze is here, and that means it's time for movie madness. From now until July, we'll be reviewing a newly released movie nearly every week. Today, we're discussing Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Does the sequel to 2014's Godzilla reboot live up to its potential? Does it pay homage to its 34 predecessors? And does it succeed in continuing Legendary's Monsterverse? Find out on this week's episode of 'Cause We're Nerds. Let them fight.
You mean by let them fight the 35 Godzilla movies that we're about to compare, right?
Right. Oh man, Godzilla King of the Monsters. So, I didn't realize that it had been quite so long since the last one had come out.
Yeah, we'll get into this a little bit more, but I actually never saw the last one. I really wanted to, and I don't know, I guess time just got away from me, and so it was very interesting going into this movie, hadn't seen the 2014 one.
We'll probably talk about it a little bit more, but it's not very connected, actually. In fact, in a lot of ways, you could probably go into this one as the first one and not really need the first one at all. But the first one, Courtney and I saw in theaters way back when in 2014. I think it was 2014. We could have seen it in 2015 because we saw it late in its release. But I remember that one was pretty divisive at the time, but we liked it. And I remember hearing a couple years after that they were going to do a King Kong movie, and then they were going to do another Godzilla, and then they were going to do King Kong versus Godzilla, and I said, there's no way that's going to happen. But here we are in 2019, they released Kong, they've released Godzilla 2, and Godzilla vs. Kong has already finished filming.
Yes, it has. And Caleb, I am so excited for this movie. I don't think you realize. I was thinking, okay, really quick. I was like trying to think, because I remember Zach talking about on the podcast how there was going to be a Kong versus Godzilla movie. And I was trying to think, and I completely forgot about the movie Kong. So I was thinking back to like King Kong, like the older ones. And I was like, they're really going that far back? Like, and then it hit me today as I was thinking, as I do. And I was like, oh yeah, there was like a whole new King Kong movie like just a few years ago.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one when it came out. I missed it. And so Courtney and I were going to sit down and watch that one before we saw this one, and we ran out of time, so we didn't. And you don't really need to see that one before this one, which I kind of expected. I thought maybe there'd be some connections and stuff, and we might get into that if there is or isn't in spoilers. But honestly, you could come in and see this movie without having seen anything else related to Godzilla or Kong ever.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Courtney and I saw this in IMAX. It was a regular IMAX, and in fact, I think this one, we had a lot of issues with the screening. I might be getting my movies mixed up because we've seen a lot of movies recently. But the theater that we go to, man, they have been just botching everything. There's been, like, no jokes, about 7 movies we've gone to this year there where the movie hasn't started on time, to the tune of 15 to 20 minutes late, where people have to go out and tell them.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it was this one where that happened, for starters. Then they finally started it, and then they started it in 3D. And it was supposed to be a 2D showing. And pretty much the entire theater, over the course of 10 minutes, got up and went out to get glasses. And Courtney got up and went and got some for us, because I was tired of getting up and going and telling them, because I had done that for several of these movies. Yeah. And I was of the opinion that since everybody was getting up and going out, surely they're going to notice something. Like, a movie theater only has so many 3D glasses. There's not enough for a whole extra screening of something. And so I thought someone was going to say something. Apparently not. Or maybe one person did. Because when Courtney went out, she mentioned it, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll take care of it. So the movie starts in 3D. We watch it for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then they have to stop it and go back and reset it. And they start at the trailers again,
Man.
Well, luckily, because this did happen to us before, and they did replay all of the trailers. This time, they started it, but then they fast forwarded it to the start of the movie. Thank goodness. And so that was our experience. The theater was maybe halfway full. It was more full than a lot of the other movies we've seen lately. Very lively audience, I will say. I wasn't expecting that. People were very invested in this. And how about you?
So my experience was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. I didn't have as many issues as you did, obviously. My screen did start I don't know why the theaters do this sometimes, but my screen started like 1/4 the size of the actual movie screen. And then right before like the actual movie started, it got really big. So I was kind of afraid that it was going to stay small the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to have to go out and say something, but it resolved itself. And then past that, everything was fine. My audio was really loud in my theater, like abnormally loud, but it didn't bother me.
So I will say one more thing. About 30 or 40 minutes into this movie, I got really sleepy. Not because of the movie, but just life. So that's probably going to color part of what I think about this movie. So just keep that in mind as we talk about it.
Okay.
All right. So my history with this franchise, I've seen the 2014 Godzilla. Of course, I know of Godzilla. I have seen the first American-made Godzilla film released in '99 that everyone hated. I've seen a lot of episodes of the animated series that they made based off of that afterwards. But in terms of the original Japanese stuff, I've seen like a few scenes here and there on TV. I've never actually seen one though.
So me and you are on the exact same page with the Japanese version, but we are actually polar opposites on the American stuff. I have never seen a Godzilla movie, actually. I've seen scenes here and there, kind of like you. And obviously I know what Godzilla is. I mean, it's hard in this day and age not to know what Godzilla is. But I haven't actually sat through anything about Godzilla all the way through.
Okay, so this is your first experience.
Yeah. Not because I necessarily don't like Godzilla. That's not what it is. Those just weren't the movies that I was like, yeah, let's watch this. There's always something else that I had rather wanted to see.
Sure, that makes sense. All right, so just like everything that we do, we're going to start out with non-spoilers, then we'll jump into spoilers. Not that there's a whole lot to spoil in this film, I don't think.
So get this, there's this giant lizard, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of action, so we'll get to that. But starting off in non-spoilers, Jacob, this being your first experience, what did you think?
Okay, so this is a different type of movie from what I'm used to seeing. There's not as much how do I want to word this and being careful? There's not as much human interaction in this movie. It's based more on obviously Godzilla, because I mean it's a Godzilla movie. So it's interesting going into this movie and being used to movies like coming out of Endgame, where you have a lot of character to character, talking and reactions, and you can just see the relationship between two characters. Whereas in this movie, you don't have that as much.
Right.
It's more of action, but there's also these dramatic sequences where maybe between the monster and a human, but you have to read it totally different than you would be able to between two human characters. So yeah, saying that, it was definitely different than what I'm used to. I enjoyed it. I think it caught my attention most of the time. There was only really one time that I was kind of like, I'm kind of losing my attention, but that only lasted about 5 minutes. Past that, the movie, grabbed me. It was able to keep hold of me. I loved the action sequences in this movie. I thought they were stupendous. I know that we had talked about this before, and you and Zach had talked about this before, and we were kind of scared that, the monster fights or whatever would be incredibly small. I remember you mentioning that because that's what the trailers look like. I didn't get that feeling. I thought they were done very, very well. You could see how big the creatures were compared to people, which I really liked. They put a lot.
I was gonna ask you about that actually, because one of the things that the first movie did so well, and it was directed by Gareth Edwards, who didn't return for this. Gareth went on to do Rogue One, but one of the things that he was really fantastic at in that movie is scale. And I was curious if you got that on this one, because I felt that it was there, but it wasn't nearly as strong. So
not coming from the 2014 one, so not comparing it to anything, just comparing it to what I thought, is good in terms of good and bad. Size ratio. I thought this was really good. There were maybe a scene here or a scene there where I thought, that actually is bigger, and it's just, in order to fit in the picture with everything they wanted, they kind of sized it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you later exactly what scene I'm talking about. But other than that, I really got how big these creatures were, and it really added to the movie, because when they were fighting, that's in the back of your mind. You're like, whoa, these are some big creatures. And they kept reminding you. It wasn't like a one-time thing where they're like, okay, well, here's a person, here's a car, here's a building, Godzilla. No, it was just, it was, throughout the movie, they kept doing certain sequences and certain, moves where you were like, oh yeah, this is that massive. That really came across. I thought the music in this movie was absolutely amazing. Very daunting music, and I really liked that. I thought the action was really, really good. I will say I was a little confused at the beginning, not having seen that 2014 one, but that was the only time I was confused. After about 10 minutes, and again, in spoilers, I'll let you know why, but after about 10 minutes, I felt like I was completely caught up and I was good to go.
Okay.
Having said that, I did watch this movie as a solo movie, but I think anyone would understand it. Like you said, there's not a lot of story overlap. A little bit, but not that much. And the little bit that there is, they explain it immediately. But yeah, I liked it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I liked it, but man, because I was having a hard time staying awake, it was really difficult to sit through. I gotta say, it felt like it was too long. It felt like there were some scenes, or I couldn't even point to a specific one. It was probably just because I was really tired. That felt that the movie started dragging or going on or became samey, or really maybe I just wanted it to end because I was so tired. I think the action is great. I think there are some really amazing shots in this film. Unfortunately, I feel a lot of those amazing shots are already in the trailers. In fact, most of the action scenes in this movie I felt were already shown in the trailers, at least in part. Maybe not the whole thing. And that's, I don't know if I've even seen all the trailers. So that was a little disappointing. But it's weird because I would call it a loose sequel. The only cast member that returns from the previous one is Ken Watanabe as the scientist dude. And the organization that he runs. And other than that...
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Is there someone that you think...
Oh, I thought the family was.
No, the family was not in the first one. Let's see. Okay, so I'm slightly wrong. The family was not. Dr. Vivienne Graham, one of the doctors in the movie, played by Sally Hawkins. Yeah. Apparently she was in the first one as well. I'm trying to look through this to make sure. Yeah, just those two people, and she was not a very important person in this film. That's why I'm saying, like, it's kind of like its own thing. Godzilla is in this, and Ken Watanabe is in this, and that's mostly it for how it connects to the last one. There's a couple callbacks here and there, but not that big a deal. Cinematography, like I said, pretty good. Some amazing shots. The acting overall is really good, but man, that Kyle Chandler guy that plays the ex-husband, he is like hamming it up half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't decide if I liked him or not.
I think he's a very interesting actor. I feel like all of his portrayals are the same. I feel like he's just being himself.
Yeah. I agree, because I've seen him in a couple things. He's one of those guys that I'm like, oh, hey, that guy, and I can't ever remember his name.
Yeah, there's nothing memorable about him, but you recognize him when you see him.
Right. So let's see, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things I thought was really good.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah, fantastic. I think she's one of the best parts about this movie.
Yeah, she definitely is. And, well, I guess I won't say that here, but she, after the first trailer came out, I wasn't sure about her because I don't know. It felt like it was a lot of running and crying, which I felt like was a lot of what she did in Stranger Things. Yeah. But I think that this movie gives her more range to be able to work with than she has, or at least what we've seen her do in the past. So I thought that was really good. Let's see, what else? Story. Let's talk about story for a second.
The story. You said story? What?
Yeah, story.
No, there's a story in this movie? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right? Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, there's not much of one. And I'm trying to think. There are some big gaps in logic, I feel, in a couple of the few plot points that this movie has. Particularly pertaining to the villain of the film.
Okay.
And so that was interesting. There really isn't much plot to this. I was hoping for a little bit more, to be honest. I mean, I just wanted a good time, and it was mostly a good time, but a little bit more plot would be cool.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Let's see. The music, I don't remember the music at all.
Really?
Probably because I was half asleep.
Fair enough.
What else? What can I say about this?
I will say. Sorry, I was just gonna say. I will say that there is a nice twist in this movie, and I'll get into that in spoilers. It's about the plot. That's why I was gonna say it.
Interesting. Let's see. Oh, apparently there is this isn't really a spoiler. There is a character that appears in this movie who originally appeared in Kong.
Oh, really?
Yep. I don't remember who he played, but apparently they're in here. Let's see. Sorry guys. I'm just trying to read through this real quick. I didn't prepare like I should have. I'm like a college student.
Also, we definitely had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we started recording and then Jacob's internet crapped out. So,
and then I came back and then it said psych and then crapped out again. Yeah.
So we're recording off jank stuff right now over a phone. So hopefully this turns out okay. But man, I feel like I should have more to say, but honestly, at least for non-spoilers, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much. I mean, we already talked about the action. The action's 75% of the movie. So, I mean...
Yeah. So if you're thinking about going to see this movie, and you like Godzilla, definitely go see it. If you're thinking about seeing it, and you've never seen Godzilla, but you like what the trailers look like, go see it. Because that's pretty much what this movie is. It's just an extended version of the trailers.
And if you're just, like, looking, like, for something... You know, like, whenever you clean the house or something, you put something on for, like, background noise... or something. Yes. You know, you could wait till this comes to Netflix or something like that, and you could do that. This would be a good movie just to kind of have on, you know.
Definitely. In fact, I was thinking, would I ever watch this again to try to get a better sense of it? And my answer was, I would put it in the background when I'm cleaning or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So, So that's kind of my rating for this movie. Jacob, what about you?
Okay. I would say, You know, this is actually the first movie that I've done this with. I would say don't go see it in theaters. Not because it's necessarily a bad movie. I just don't think it's necessarily worth the money to do it. If I'm gonna go spend money on a movie and sit in a movie theater, I want it to be, you know, thoroughly entertaining. Not that this wasn't, but thoroughly entertaining and have a good plot and make me think and, you know, but, I mean, I came out of this movie satisfied, but it wasn't like, oh man, that was a good movie. I just came out and I was like, I mean, yeah, that was good. Like,
yeah, I agree.
So I would say, I mean, don't be in any rush to go see this movie. I mean, maybe if you have like a cheap movie theater around you, I would say hit that up. If not, I would just say wait and rent it from home. I feel like this would be a good movie just to rent from home and sit down and eat some popcorn, cuddle up, and maybe have the fireplace on. You know, something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say rush to the movies for this one.
Yeah, I will say that the one benefit of seeing it in theaters is the size of the screen and the quality of the audio. That said, to get that, like, I feel like you kind of have to be in an IMAX.
Yep.
Like I've said before, I have the A-list for AMC, so I didn't pay for this. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. But if you've got a big TV, certainly you could wait till it comes home. I mean, even if you've got a small TV, but that's the only caveat I would throw in there.
Yeah, like I've said, I'm not an A-list member, so I did pay for this movie.
I thought you were going to jump on A-list for the summer.
I know, I was going to. I still might. I keep, like, it's hard to justify myself doing it, but then whenever I actually think of how many movies I'm going to be seeing, I'm like, oh yeah, it makes so much sense. But, like, as I'm sitting during the week at home playing video games instead of going to watch movies, I'm like, I mean, it's only going to save me, like, $5, $10. Is it really worth it?
No. Okay, so at least here, an IMAX ticket's $16.
No, yeah, I know. That's what I say in my head. Like, in my head, I think it's only going to save me $5, $10. When in reality, all throughout summer, it's probably going to save me like $50, if not more.
Oh yeah, I mean, so let's say I see one IMAX movie a week, and it's $16. That's $32. That's $64, and it's $20 for the membership. I've saved $50 in 1 month. Yeah, that's totally worth it.
Dang.
And I've been seeing more than one movie a month or a week actually.
Wow. Okay, I'll probably get it then.
All right, cool. So
I'm a college kid.
We're going to jump into spoilers now. As we have said, there's not a whole lot of story stuff to spoil, but if you don't want to know anything about that going in, jump off here, and away we go. So, Jacob, there was a couple things that you said you would mention spoilers. You want to jump into those?
Yes. Okay, so first off, starting right in the beginning with the movie, I felt a little bit behind because the way that they introduced this movie, I felt as if I already should have known this family. Right?
Nope.
Like, and that's what you said. You said they weren't in the last movie, but to me, it felt like, and maybe it's just because I just knew this was a sequel and I hadn't seen the first one, but it felt like we were already supposed to be kind of attached to these people. And they talked about their son and they only had one brief, like, flashback. So I thought, oh, well, that's from the 2014 movie. You know, like, I didn't realize they were completely new. Now, saying that kind of, like, brings the movie down a bit for me, because I feel like the way they portrayed it made it feel like everybody should have already known them, even though we didn't. I wish they would have gone back a little bit in the backstory, a little bit more. In fact, that changes a lot of what I think about this movie, plot-wise and everything, because characters don't have as much build-up as they would have.
Yeah, I think that one of the detriments of this film is that it doesn't really bring back anyone from the last one. The last one had, oh wow, I just forgot his name. The Marvel's Quicksilver. And you know what? I'm going to look it up because I've got it right here. Aaron Taylor Johnson, which was Quicksilver and Marvel stuff, and Elizabeth Olsen were the two leads of the previous one, along with Bryan Cranston had a small role in the film as well. Yep.
I do remember, like I said, I remember seeing clips. I do remember Bryan Cranston, and I remember a little bit of Elizabeth. I didn't remember the other one. But, so that was my first thing. Second thing, and this...
Well, also, sorry, are you moving on from the beginning?
No, this is still in the beginning.
Okay, go ahead then.
Right at the beginning when they're at the that the moth,
Mm-hmm.
place. Well, before it's a moth, it's like a caterpillar or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy breaks in and like guns everybody down, and he shoots her coworker, and then it like zooms up on his face. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to know who this character is. Like the way they did it and they held it there, I was like, oh man, this could be like one of her co-workers from the last movie. This could be like, I felt like I should have known him in the way that she reacted. It looked like she knew him, which she did now knowing.
Right.
But it just looked like he was a part of her past. And I feel like I kind of got taken out of the movie a little bit right there because I was trying to think of who he could possibly be that I missed. And I mean, that's not necessarily the movie's fault. It's probably my fault for overthinking a little bit, and not seeing the first one, but I did assume that we were supposed to know who he was too.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Like I said, I think it would be stronger if there were some of those ties. I do want to point out that while the child dying in the family is not from the last movie, the whole incident where he died is the climax of the last film.
In San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do kind of tie it in, but we never see those characters.
See, what I think would have been really, really cool is if they did a Batman vs. Superman thing here and had like a different angle from the 2014 movie, and maybe you saw some of the main actors or something just in a glimpse, just for, 30, 45 seconds in the background doing whatever, and then you see Godzilla rushing forward, and then you see whatever happens to the kid happen. That's one thing really quick that I do love about Batman vs. Superman is the tie-in, but it's a different angle that you get to see. I feel like that would have been really, really cool here.
Yeah, because you don't really see Godzilla in that flashback at all. You kind of just see a bunch of ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that other thing that you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, the size with the monsters.
Yeah.
When you see, and I'm horrible with names, what's the three-headed dragon?
King Ghidorah.
Wow, I'm just gonna say the dragon. When you see the dragon in the ice, that thing looks big, but nowhere near the size that it actually is. Like, in the ice, it looks about 6-7 stories tall. So I was like, oh, I mean, that's pretty big. Like, but when it comes out, it is easily over 100 feet tall, over 150 feet tall. That thing is ginormous.
That's true. I guess I had never thought of that.
Yeah, because I saw it in the ice and I saw the three heads and you can kind of see the body. And I was like, oh, I mean, it's not that big. I was like, I'm surprised. But when it breaks apart and the shot that you can tell where it's the biggest, there's two shots, I think, is the shot when it's on top of the volcano.
Yep.
And it spreads its wings. And then also the part where the giant ship is flying into the storm and the lightning is flashing and you can see it through the storm.
Mm-hmm.
You can really tell the size there. And I thought that they did an amazing job with how big these creatures are, except for that one scene. That I saw it and I was like, oh man, it's not that big. And then later I saw it and I was like, oh, it is huge. I wish they would have made it a little bit bigger, then.
Previously. Yeah. Okay. Have you seen the IMAX preview for this movie that was like 5 minutes long?
So I started watching it because it's from that scene with the dragon in it.
Right.
And the last thing that you see, I'm pretty sure she says, I'm sorry or whatever. And so I started watching it and then I stopped because I didn't want to see it.
Okay. So I didn't get that luxury because we've been going to the movie so much. They've been playing this in the theaters. In fact, I got really sick of seeing it because I've seen it like 4 times now, maybe. And so when it got to the movie, you should go back and watch it and compare. I think this might be why I think it's a bit long. That preview, and it is a preview, and it's cut like a preview, so it doesn't, it needs a bit more room to breathe. But in the movie version is so much more extended that I felt like, based on what I saw from the preview, that could have been done in a shorter amount of time and be more effective. I felt like they extended it too much for the actual film.
Yeah. I get, cause the preview, I remember seeing it, it was only like 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes.
I think it was like 5 minutes.
Was it 5 minutes? Okay. But then the actual scene's a while. I mean,
yeah,
it's easily It's easily 8-9 minutes, if not longer.
Yeah, and it's good, but I felt like a lot of the same things kept happening. It's like, oh, get to the plane. Oh, the plane got hit down. Okay, well, let's get to this other plane. Oh, well, the plane got hit down again. Dang it. What are we going to do now?
Yeah. So here's a question since we're talking about this part. What do you think about, like, the main character, the mom's, surprising twist in this? That she wasn't actually kidnapped.
Yeah, that's like the big plot thing that I said doesn't really make any sense. In fact, when it's first revealed that she wasn't kidnapped, when she contacts them and is talking, I'm thinking through, like, why would this be the case? Like, why would logically she do this? And I came to the conclusion that she was basically just crazy. She turned insane or whatever. Her reasoning isn't valid. And I went with that for a while until they tried to start turning her good again. And then they just lost me. Because I felt like if they were going to do that with her, leave her evil. That would have been, in my opinion, more interesting than this pseudo fake redemption that I don't really think worked very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think something that a way that they could have gone that would have been way more interesting is that, do everything that they did, believe that she's kidnapped and stuff, but explain that, the reason she did that is so that she would not be held responsible, which would make sense, if everybody thinks she's kidnapped. But have the reason she's releasing these monsters to kill Godzilla because he took her son away. I think that would have made much more sense.
That would have made a lot more sense, actually.
Right? Like, have her, being the scientist that she is, explain that, she found some of these ancient cave paintings and she knows that in the past they fought and that he's really the only one that can bring down Godzilla and she knows the military can't. So be that the reason why she releases the three-headed dragon and then releases all the others because all the others will follow the three-headed dragon to try to kill Godzilla.
Well, what would have been cool or make more sense as well is she invented this thing called the Orca, and I don't think it really plays into the movie too much. Why couldn't she have released them and then use that to have them fight Godzilla?
No, that's what I thought, but I don't think she really holds Godzilla accountable.
No, but I mean, like, in your version.
Oh,
she could have released them and then use the Orca to force them to fight without having this whole alpha monster type thing.
Oh, because you can only control one at a time.
Can you?
Yeah, you can only...
No, I don't think so, because there's a point where they put it through the stadium and all the monsters stop or something.
That's true. Well, then they contradict each other because she says that you have to have this specific sound. Ooh, that's true. You have to have this Oh. I know. I got it. Originally, at the beginning of the movie, she could only control one at a time. Because she said you had to have the exact frequency, for that Titan. And if you didn't, then they would reject it, and get mad and kill you, basically. But Mimbo sitting in the office, she came up with that plan. She said, well, wait a second. If I mix this and this together, she said, I should be able to reach all of them. She said, then I can lead them all into one place at the same time. And she said, I wouldn't need to use whatever the dragon. She said, I could lead them all here. That way they'd be out of the way. But she didn't come up with that plan until they were there. And then that's when the girl heard and she went and did it.
Okay.
So, and I think also is that noise, well, here's the thing. The noise really doesn't control them. You can have them stop attacking or you can have them be aggressive, but you can't really choose targets for them and you can't really have them do specific things. So with her having, even if she could control all of them, and lead them all to one place, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily all going to attack Godzilla. They may end up just attacking each other. Okay,
well, she could build more than one Orca, and she could pick a frequency so that it seems like Godzilla is being aggressive towards them, and then they're being aggressive towards Godzilla.
I feel like that just would have been too confusing.
Maybe. I don't know. It's not a perfect idea, but I will say one thing that annoyed me, which I was going into this like hoping for some connections to Kong Skull Island, even though I haven't seen it.
Yep. You haven't seen that?
No.
Oh, you said that in the opening. Caleb, that is a fantastic movie.
Well, like I said, we were going to watch it. We just ran out of time. We'll still watch it at some point.
Oh, it's so good. You should watch it this week.
Well, we actually were going to watch it the other day and we ran out of time. But, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so
I'm sorry.
I was looking forward to connections, but they threw out the words Kong and Skull Island so much, I got sick of it.
Yep. See, this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought they kept mentioning monsters, and they would name different titans. However, they would always leave Kong in there, you know. And then when we saw near the end of the movie, when you see not all of them, when you see most of the titans in different cities attacking, and then they start heading towards the stadium, I was like, okay, we're about to see. I got the feeling that we were going to see like Infinity War, like all of them versus Godzilla, or all of them versus the dragon, you know, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. And of course, they get there right as it ends, and there's no action between the rest of them, and you don't even ever really see Kong. I mean, you see his shadow a little bit, but it doesn't, you know,
Do you?
Yeah. You see him at the very end whenever you see all of them come up.
I didn't think you did, because not all of them are there, even.
Yeah, no, he's there. He's with the final shot when you see Godzilla rolling on top of that, like, pile. He's exactly behind Godzilla.
Okay, because I was counting, and there's supposed to be, like, 17 of these things.
Yep, 17.
And there was only maybe, like, 8 there.
Yep. And I was counting. Now, you have to remember, the moth died, the dragon died, so that's 2 out, so there's only 15 left.
Godzilla is 1.
Yeah. But then, so 14, but the rest of them weren't there, you're right.
I just assumed that Kong couldn't swim, so he didn't get off the island.
Oh, man. When you see Kong, you'll see. He doesn't have to swim. You'll see. Like, which is another thing that I gotta bring up, but really quick. Yeah, he's there. You see him twice. You see him, one, he's on the TV, a general's talking, and he's on the TV in the back, but you only see his back. That's all you see, and it quickly zooms away. And then, at the very end, you see him, but you see, like, his, let's see if you see his right side, but you can't see his face or anything, and you can tell it's him because you can see the black fur and stuff, but there's not, like, much detail at all. If that makes sense. So, like, you can tell he's there, but it's like they intentionally didn't want to do it since that movie's coming out next year. Or whenever, not next year, but...
It is next year, actually.
Is it next year? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like they intentionally didn't want to do that. But I was so upset because I thought we were going to have this giant fight, and I hate when movies do this thing where you have, like, a fight, and then as soon as the fight's over, like, the second it's over, like, all these other people show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not realistic. Like, what? And they all wouldn't have gotten there at the same time.
Well, I've got a question, too.
Okay.
So, this movie ends with... And the title, I was wondering, going into it, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Is King Ghidorah King of the Monsters because he's controlling all of them? Or is Godzilla King of the Monsters because that's like one of his catchphrases? In fact, like, the very first Godzilla movie is called Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
And at the end of this, he is the King of the Monsters. The other monsters literally bow down, which I think was kind of cheesy. I wish they kind of would have... I feel like that makes them too smart, you know?
Fair enough.
But so he's over them. He's king of the world. The next one is going to pit him against Kong. But after that, where do you go? They can't use any of the 17 monsters they've already used. They can't use... I guess they could use King Ghidorah if they bring him back.
But they haven't used all 17.
But they were all in here in some way. And they're all... Like, they all bowed down to him. So you would have to have some reason that they're not acknowledging him as king anymore.
Well, see, this is what I think it is. I think this is the same thing that the animal kingdom does, you know, with all these different mammals, especially. Mammals do this a ton, is they'll have one that's specifically the leader. However, followers will come up and try to challenge the leader. And if they lose, they'll go back to following, but sometimes, depending on the mammal, sometimes they end up dying. But like, I think it's kind of that little basis, there doesn't have to be a specific thing, but if you believe, let's say me and you, right? Let's say we're working as a team and we decide that you're the leader. You don't have to do anything wrong. Maybe I'm just sitting up one night. I'm like, hey, I think I would be better at leading. I think I could do something better.
Hey, hey, back off.
I'm taking over this podcast.
Sit down. This is my podcast.
But I would come and challenge you, and I think that's what this Kong movie is gonna be.
I get that. I get Kong.
Okay.
But I mean, after that.
I already thought about this.
You would have to introduce just new monsters continuously. And, I mean, to be fair, there's been 34 movies. They probably have a lot that they could use. But it kind of seems like a waste to use all of them in here when a lot of them don't get much to do.
Okay, well, there's a couple different things. One, I don't think they actually show all 17 in this movie because they explain that the most they ever that you saw at one time was 9.
No, not at one time, but like there were shots on, again, like those screens you were talking about, where you see some that
That's what I was talking about, was the 9 on the screens.
There's a couple, like the shots where it shows them awakening,
yeah,
and then there's some where it shows later on screens, and that's the only time you see them.
Yeah, I still don't know if they showed all 17, though.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to count, I guess.
I'm gonna look it up afterwards, but I feel like they showed a lot of them, like, repeatedly. But what I was gonna say is that if you think about it, they've actually already had a leeway out. They were smart. They put something in here that they can use for the rest of the movies to keep making these movies. They said that the dragon was actually an alien, which I really liked. Actually, it made a lot of sense. I wasn't up for him having such fast regeneration and such, like, weather controlling powers. I thought that was super cheesy until they explained that he was an alien, and then I could kind of get with it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the regeneration. So if he's an alien and he was out there, who's to say that there's not a whole planet of these monsters that are unique from Earth's Titans?
Right, and like that's what I'm saying. You could totally do that, but you would have to bring in a new creature every time from now on.
Possibly. You could also do something that would really be cool. I don't think they would ever do this, but eventually, maybe 5 or 6 movies down the line, maybe something happens to Kong, and Kong is completely out. Not like of the movie. Like he's down. Maybe you kill off Kong. Oh, sorry, Godzilla. Maybe you kill off Godzilla or something big like that. And what if they lead this into more of like a mech movie?
Well, you know that Mecha Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah are a thing, right?
Yes, I did know that. What if like they lead into that and like they make like a Mecha Godzilla?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't know, because these movies come out so infrequently.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the route they would ever go.
Okay. Now, I'm putting money down right now. Okay.
I would actually put more money down on the humans building a mech to fight Godzilla or something like that.
Okay. That could do it. I'm putting down money, not on anything we've said so far, but it just made me think about it. I'm putting down money right now. The after credit scene in this movie, we see that the main bad guy goes and gets one of the heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting down money that the next movie starts and Kong and Godzilla are facing each other, but then it turns into a Batman versus Superman situation where they team up against something, and I think that something is going to be something that he somehow genetically modified to create a new Titan.
So you think that's what the Kong versus Godzilla movie is going to be?
Yes. That, or, I had 2 theories. One is that somehow they're going to genetically modify a new Titan, or an existing Titan, with the DNA from the dragon from this movie to make them more aggressive or something. Or, I think that the whole premise is going to be the main bad guy in this movie seeks out Kong and somehow injects him with the DNA, or somehow he, uses the DNA of the dragon to his advantage to make him fight Godzilla.
That's possible, I guess. I haven't seen the original Kong versus Godzilla, but I kind of assumed it was just them two, but it could be interesting to see them bring in another one towards the end of the movie. I don't want it to start that way.
Yeah, no, me neither. I would really like to see Kong and Godzilla kind of going at it. Maybe have that be the middle of the movie. The first of the movie, explain why, they're going to be fighting again. Maybe have something happen. The middle of the movie, have them fighting. Maybe the, third quarter of it, have them healing or, preparing. And then the last half, bring in another creature where they actually have to team up because it's stronger than the dragon from this movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that I did really enjoy the first, it's not post-credits, but the first scene after the movie ends, where it's got all the stuff that ties in to Kong. I felt like that entire sequence was really well put together.
Are you talking about like the newspapers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes, I really like that stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Sorry.
No, you good. I was just going to say, one of them specifically leaded into Kong versus Godzilla, because one of the newspapers said, what is a king to a god?
Yep. And there was a couple things in there. There was the cave painting where they're fighting each other.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely led into that pretty hard. I will say, when they said that King Ghidorah was a alien, I wasn't really sure how I felt about that, so I came home and I Googled it, and apparently in the original Godzilla series, there's actually more than one technically, he is an alien, but he's actually like a clone of an alien. It's kind of alluded to that King Ghidorah was an alien, and then somehow some people got the DNA and grew him. So he's still terrestrial, but he is also still extraterrestrial.
Interesting. My question is, or not question, idea, it's such a waste, they killed him. Why not just try to capture him again, and cure world hunger? Just chop off a head every few hours. You know what I'm saying? It regenerates so fast, they could easily cure world hunger.
I gotta say, though, I'm definitely on board with Dr. Russell to just kill all these things. Do not let them live. No.
Yeah. What was the 2014, was Godzilla just like a bad guy?
He's not really a bad guy. It's sort of like this movie. It's the first time he has appeared since the 60s, and he was a secret. So he appears, and for most of the movie, he's just wrecking stuff. And then you kind of realize, I think towards the end, that he's going to fight a thing. Like, he's not quite an enemy, but in parts of it, he is.
Okay, because I was going to say, I was confused how they went from, Godzilla wrecking everything to Godzilla liking humans, and I was going to say, maybe the third one, actually Godzilla becomes evil somehow. Maybe he actually tries to hurt humans. Maybe the humans go and try to recruit Kong, because humans have already had interactions with Kong from Kong and the Skull Island.
Yeah, you should go back and watch the first one. It's kind of hard to explain. It has been 5 years since I've seen it, so a little rusty.
Fair enough. But yeah, I was just going to mention, I thought the girl, and I'm off with names, I thought the girl from Stranger Things was an amazing actress in here.
Yeah, I think that she was the best actress in this movie, and I think that's saying a lot. Even some actors and actresses that I think are pretty good, like I really like Thomas Middleditch. I watch him in Silicon Valley, which is a completely different types of thing. That's a comedy, but I thought he was good in this. And I liked where is he? The villain, Charles Dance, who played the British guy, the villain. I like him. He's from Game of Thrones, But in this movie, again, he kind of hammed it up a bit. A lot of people hammed it in this, and I don't know. I think that Millie Bobby Brown didn't, and I think that worked to her advantage.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I haven't seen Stranger Things season 2 yet. That's on my watch list. But I love her in season 1, and this character is just such a different character, but she still pulled it off so well. I just think she's awesome. I'm excited to see what roles people put her in.
Yeah, I see her being a big deal in the coming years.
Now, here's just a thought. I thought about this, the humans were going to help Godzilla, right? At the end, the very last battle.
Yeah.
And they were all going in there, with fighter jets and everything. And first off, 2 questions. One, they already know that's not working. What's the point?
Because they've got a non-military man in charge of their military stuff now.
Okay. And second off, here's my thought. Why not stand back, okay, and just, when you see Godzilla starting to lose, just launch a nuke or 2 there, because that helps him, and they can't live there anyways, because Godzilla already went thermonuclear, which means all of that is already radioactive. Right?
I don't know, man. I don't know if those blasts were actually nuclear, because I've played one of the old Godzilla fighting games, and it's a move that's in that, so I'm assuming it's something from the movies.
The guy that, the skinny guy, the new scientist, he said thermonuclear.
Yeah. But I think they thought he was going to blow up, and instead he just released energy. Because it's sort of like his atomic breath. He fires that, and if it hits you, it's nuclear. But I don't know if it's nuclear after it's gone.
Maybe. Even then, though, even if them themselves... Oh, that's the garage if you hear a bear growling. Or it's just Godzilla. Even then, with the amount of radiation that those monsters have, especially Godzilla, they would have to have lingering radiation around.
Look, I mean, if this was the real world, yes. But if this was the real world, Ken Watanabe would have melted when he went into that chamber.
You are not wrong. He got out, and I saw the steam pouring off that water, and I was like, yeah, there's no way. And then he takes his helmet off, and I'm like, dude, I get you're gonna die, but what if you took that off and your eyeballs just, melted?
Yep. I thought the same thing.
What's the point? And then also, what's the point of even risking getting out of your boat to put the nuke right beside him? If you would have stayed in your boat and activated the nuke just to make sure that you activated it,
Look, man, he's gonna die anyway, so why not have a cool death?
That's true.
I mean, no one's around to see it, but...
I will say, one of the coolest things that I liked about this movie was the very, very, very last scene, one of the last shots. Maybe I said that backwards. No, I think that's right. Is when Godzilla kings the... Oh, wow. Okay, let's try it again.
Godzilla kings the world.
When Godzilla kills the dragon, right?
Yeah.
And then out of the rubble, you see the dragon head rising up. I was like, oh my goodness, he's not dead. I expected another Titan to come in there, like King Kong or something. I thought it would have been so cool. Or the mammoth just step on his head, or something. And then you see that Godzilla has, from half the neck up, he has halfway swallowed the dragon head, and then swings it around and does his blast from his mouth and just completely disintegrates it. That was intense.
So I don't want to give away how the last one ends, but there's a similar final fatality.
Finish him.
There's a similar thing that happens that I thought at the time was really cool and kind of intense. You should check that out.
I probably will. I really liked whenever he started the blast because it looked like he was going to come out of the dragon's mouth. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it looked like the dragon was charging it up, kind of like his lightning bolts. And then it just destroyed him. And then I thought it was kind of funny afterwards. Godzilla kind of does a bop, and there's like some like lightning in there. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, the best.
All right. Is that all you got?
Let's see. No plot, good action, dragon dying, no King Kong. Yep, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, that was that, and this is this. It's time for What You've Been Up To.
I have not been up to really anything. After the news of hearing that the new Modern Warfare is coming out, the reboot, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought, this is stupid. It's only been 10 years.
No.
And the series is still going.
But did you see the trailer?
No.
The Modern Warfare series is done. Call of Duty is still making games, but the Modern Warfare series has been done.
Well, Modern Warfare 3 came out like, what, 3 years ago?
No. It was way longer than that, I think. I'm looking it up. Are you looking it up too?
I am looking it up. Modern Warfare. I'm just going to do Modern Warfare.
2011, Caleb. 8 years.
3?
Yep. And the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4...
2007.
Yep.
Yeah. Still.
But I like it because the games themselves, Modern Warfare, all warfare tactics have changed even since then by a lot and new technology. So I am a big fan of this game series. Modern Warfare is actually one of my favorite game series of all time. The story behind it is amazing. Through and through, excellent games, all three of them. There might have been a fourth one. I don't think so. And if there was, I didn't like it. But I'm so excited for this, Caleb. I started replaying the first one, actually. Because they had released on PlayStation 4. You gold members will remember that they released Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered for free about 4 or 5 months ago. So I snagged that. So I started playing through the campaign again. And it's excellent still. So I've been doing that for preparation. What are you looking up over there? I hear lots of typing.
I'm not typing anymore.
Really?
Yeah. You're hearing stuff, man.
Man. Anyway, so I did that. Also, I just wanted to mention that game, rumors, pretty strong rumors, say that Modern Warfare game is actually going to be completely cross-platform. Which is super cool, if that's comes to be the case. And then lastly, I'm getting excited, Caleb, because, as you know, E3 is coming up. Ish.
It is. Unfortunately, both you and I will be out of town during E3.
Yes. However, not unfortunately, is that we have a nice thing called the internet, which means that we will actually be able to see at least some information about that Marvel game that Square Enix has been developing. And they actually came out and said that it's named Marvel's Avengers. I'm sure you saw that.
I saw that, and I hate that name.
Yep, I'm not a huge fan of the name.
Because that's literally the name of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, but maybe it's based off the Avengers movies.
It said it was an original story.
Did not see that. Okay, well, scratch that. But I am excited because we've been hearing nothing about this game, but we've known they've been doing it for a long time now. So I'm really excited. I'm actually really nervous about it because I want to love it so badly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just been so many bad superhero games. Spider-Man got it right. I really hope they take some cues from Spider-Man because I loved that.
I have faith in Square Enix. I think the developers of this are the developers of the Tomb Raider reboot.
Okay. I'm really interested to see what they do. I'm excited to see. I hope we get some gameplay footage. I hope we get a trailer from it. Maybe a little bit of what the story is. They never released a release date, right? Wow.
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think so either. Okay. I'm hoping they do that too.
Yeah, nice. There's a lot of stuff at E3 this year that I'm excited for. That's one of them. We're supposed to be getting more on Cyberpunk 2077, which has been in development for forever.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff. I'm kind of disappointed I'm going to be out of town. I hope we have good enough internet to actually see stuff.
Oh, I'm sure we will. I also am a little upset that Sony's not showing up.
Yeah, because they're doing their own thing now. Their state of play.
Yeah. And I kind of don't like that. I liked how everything was kind of grouped together. But I mean, whatever. But yeah, so other than playing Modern Warfare in hopes of the new one being just as amazing, I haven't been up to much. What you been up to?
So, over the weekend, we went and saw Rocket Man.
Hey.
It was not what I was expecting.
Oof, that did not sound good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I liked it. There's been a lot of music documentaries lately. We saw Bohemian Rhapsody, we watched The Dirt on Netflix, and I was kind of expecting this to be along those lines, and it's really not. It's a lot more artsy. There's a lot of, I don't know what you call it, fake stuff happening in the movie. You see stuff, but it's not what's actually happening. It's like a dream or a representation of something.
Yeah.
And so I didn't care for that as much. The acting in it is really phenomenal. Everybody's really good. But also, I know none of Elton John's songs. Courtney wanted to go see it. So, the music in it was fine, but there was some people beside us that kept cheering and singing along. I'm like, that's awesome, except I don't know any of these, so this would probably be a lot better if I did.
That's like, we watched, or we started, I didn't finish it. We watched that Bohemian Rhapsody movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only song that I know by them. I mean, just being honest. So, they were singing all these songs, and Kaylee was like, yeah, and I was like, I don't know this, but this is awesome, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping it would end up going to Lion King and put some Lion King stuff in there, because he did that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did, but it ends before that, so I don't know. If you're into Elton John, I'm sure you'll love it. Out of those 3 musical documentaries I've seen lately, not the best. The trailers portray it in a different way than it is.
How was the actor? Because he's the actor that's in Kingsman, right?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I thought he was really, really good.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, all of the acting is great, and the costumes are great. Everything about the movie is great, except for the plotting and the visuals of how they went about that. That's the only thing that I'm like, not a big fan of.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, we've also been watching Naruto. We watched that today. We watched another 6 or 7 episodes. We're going to watch more once I jump off here. We are in the thick of it. We've got maybe 40 episodes left or so.
Wow. I'm not beating y'all.
It's all good. I mean, we take large breaks. And once we actually get done with this, we can't finish it because we're watching dubbed, and dub doesn't come out. The last part of the dub doesn't come out until later on this month at some point. So we've still got some time to wait.
So there's hope. If I quit my job and do none of my other responsibilities.
Exactly.
I could catch up. I mean, I'm on episode 200 right now.
We just passed 4. I think the last one we watched was 414.
Goodness. But my friend's about to get to the pain story, so I'm actually gonna.
You keep saying that.
No, I finished the pain story recently. My friend's about to get to it. super, super close. And so I'm actually going to watch that with him because I like seeing his reactions.
Okay.
The one that I told you was he saw the Pain and Jiraiya fight, but I'm talking about when Pain goes to the village.
Mental. When he goes mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and the other thing that I technically haven't done, but am going to do, is today we were at Best Buy, and something caught my eye, and I just had to buy it, and that is the complete series of Avatar: The Last Airbender on Blu-ray.
Yes!
They had it for $28, and I was like, you know what?
That's a steal.
I gotta get this. I checked, because I thought it was on Netflix or Hulu, and I checked before I bought it, and it's not anymore. So I justified it as saying, I can't watch this anywhere now. So once we finish Naruto, we'll probably jump on that. I don't want to start too many things because we also haven't finished Dragon Ball Super, and we also started Yu Yu Hakusho, and we're also watching The Umbrella Academy. And
You still haven't finished that?
No, because we watched the first episode, and then we didn't watch anymore. And then over the last week, we've started watching again. I think we're about halfway through.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I actually have season 2 and season 4 of the Avatar.
There is no season 4.
Well, then I have season 1 and season 3. It skips one season. Whatever seasons they are, I have one, and then I don't have the second one, and then I have the third one.
Okay, I had the first one. I might have given it to you.
That might have been the case.
Yeah. It was on DVD, but it's one of those series where I saw episodes of it, but I never got to see it all the way through. I don't even know exactly how it ends. I have vague ideas.
Really?
Yeah. So
Ooh.
I like it a lot, and I can talk about it, but like if people want to talk about anything specific about it with me, like I didn't get to see whole chunks of it. I think I watched mostly the first season, and then I saw some of season 2 because of I know Toph, and then maybe like one episode of season 3. So not very many. It's only 60 something episodes.
Oh man, yeah, it's so good. Man, it's so good. I want to watch all of them again.
Right.
And maybe have like a decent movie about it. You know, that'd be nice.
Well, you know Netflix is doing the live action series.
Yep. I know. I'm so excited. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for The Witcher.
Yep.
I'm excited for what's that other one? I literally sent you a picture about it probably a week ago.
I don't know, but I'm excited for Cowboy Bebop.
Maybe that's what it was. No, you told me about that. I don't know. My question was though, after you and Courtney finish Naruto, are you going to go ahead and jump on the next one?
The sequel series?
Yeah.
I don't know. So when Courtney's watching Dragon Ball and Naruto, I've been very protective of spoilers from her.
Mm-hmm.
After we finished Dragon Ball Z, I wasn't as protective of Super stuff. And after we finished Naruto, I'm not going to be as protective of Boruto stuff. So maybe we might watch it. I've seen like the first 14 episodes.
Is it good?
It's so when I started watching it, I said, this is the way I want a sequel series to be. And I still believe that in the fact that it's not just like the same thing as Naruto.
Yeah.
But it's not so different that it doesn't feel like Naruto. It's kind of like a hybrid. And I like that aspect of it. But at least the first 14 episodes are a lot of self-contained episodes that sort of kind of build to one thing. And I've got a friend who's watched, I think, up to like the 40s or 50s. And he says it kind of stays that way. And he's not a huge fan of it. So I don't know. It's probably something we'll start and never finish.
Man, I don't know what to do. I've heard mixed reactions on it. And I'm excited because I love Naruto. So even when I finish it, I don't want to be done with it. But like if I start watching something and it's worse, I don't want it to like taint the name. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. It feels enough of its own thing that if you don't like it, I think you're going to be fine.
Okay.
But if you do like it, then you found something new.
Okay. Fair enough.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we do want to say thank you to Taylor Poole for creating our opening intro music. You can find him at taylorpoolemusic.com. That's TaylorPoole music.com.
And if you like Godzilla and all the other Titans, you're going to love these beasts that we know. And it's going to be CNC Power Hour. Those guys are beasts at games, and they stream them on Twitch. So you guys should go in and head on over there. It's Saturday and Sunday. And go see what they're up to.
And if you want an atomic wave of goodness, head on over to our website, causewe'renerds.com, where you can find our backlog of all of our episodes, over 100 hours of content at this point, some information about us. It's just the best way to share the show with all of your friends. Thanks for listening to 'Cause We're Nerds. Stay up to date with all the nerdy news and podcast drops by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also leave us comments and feedback at causewe'renerds@gmail.com. That's CUZWERENERDS@gmail.com. And as always, if you enjoy this podcast, we would love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Next week, it's the end of the line as the constantly delayed Dark Phoenix hits theaters. Releasing 8 months after its initial release date, is it a train wreck? Can the retread of X-Men The Last Stand actually be any better? And what will the final film in Fox's X-Men franchise look like? Find out on next week's episode of 'Cause We're Nerds. And as always, stay nerdy. So Jacob, last week I asked Courtney to give me her best Godzilla roar. I want to hear yours.
Oh man, Caleb. I don't know if I have a best Godzilla roar. You know? Like, oh man. Okay, let me channel my inner.
Or I'll give you an option. You can do Ghidorah if you'd rather.
He's like a croak though. You know, Godzilla's is like deep, and he's like, ah. No, I can't even do it. Like the dragons. It's like, can I do the pterodactyl?
There is, but I don't know what it sounds like.
It's like, it's like that. You know, like
wow.
You gotta like.
That was really good, actually.
Thank you. It comes from the back of the throat, but with no voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta send it.
Okay. I'll try.
Okay.
That was
Did
so
you just
bad.
Get punched in the stomach?
It just sounded like I started choking. All right. Hold on. Let me try again. Hold on. Let me practice. Okay.
Okay. Let me do it one more time for you. Okay. You gotta put your hands up to your armpits, kind of like the chicken dance. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like embrace your inner pterodactyl and just lean back, lean forward, and go.
Oh goodness. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's because of the way I'm sitting. All right.
They could be it.
All right. I'm doing what you're saying. I'm like a chicken.
Okay.
Okay. I can't even start. I don't think I can do it.
Oh my goodness. All right, last time, Caleb. Last time, I'm going to give you one more bit of advice. Okay? I want you to close your throat off as much as possible. And I want you to breathe in while you try to make a high-pitched noise.
Okay. I don't even know if I can do that.
You got it. So prioritize the breathing in and the tight throat. And then as long as a little bit of sound gets out, you got it.
Okay, I don't think this is going to be any better.
You
but
got it.
I'll try. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be a Godzilla voice actor.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That was like a baby pterodactyl trying to make its full screech. That's what that was.
My voice isn't wired for high pitched.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Caca. All right. For another sinking test, this is kind of silly, but go with me. You know the Addams Family theme song?
The Addams Family.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. 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 All right. Now you can go.
Okay.
Wait. Now you can go.
Okay.